Brute Force MMA presents the top 10 greatest walkouts in UFC history. Number 10. Conor McGregor, UFC 189. Title fight against Chad Mendes, McGregor made his way to the octagon with his team while the Irish ballad Foggy Dew played in the background. The crowd at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas was electric, with fans decked out in green and waving Irish flags in support of their favorite fighter. As McGregor made his way to the octagon, he wore a custom-made Versace robe with his own logo emblazoned on the back. The walkout was a true spectacle, with fireworks and pyrotechnics adding to the drama and excitement. McGregor looked confident and focused as he made his way to the octagon, ready to put on a show for his fans. The fight itself was just as dramatic, with Mendes taking McGregor down early and controlling him on the ground for much of the first round. But McGregor rallied in the second round, landing a series of devastating strikes that eventually led to a TKO victory and the UFC featherweight title. Number 9. Ronda Rousey, UFC 157. For her bantamweight title fight against Liz Carmouche, Rousey made her way to the octagon with Joan Jett's Bad Reputation playing in the background. As she walked out, the crowd at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California erupted in cheers and applause. Rousey looked confident and focused as she made her way to the cage, sporting a pink and black sports bra and shorts. Her walkout was a true spectacle, with her team carrying a Glendale Fighting Club flag behind her and fireworks and smoke machines adding to the drama and excitement. Rousey's walkout was a historic moment that showcased her status as a trailblazer in the sport. Her confident and commanding presence added to the excitement of the moment, and fans were eager to see her in action. The fight itself saw Rousey put on another impressive performance, submitting Carmouche with her signature armbar in the first round to defend her bantamweight title. It was another dominant display of skill and technique from Rousey, further cementing her status as one of the greatest female fighters in UFC history. Number 8. Anderson Silva, UFC 97. For his middleweight title fight against Thales Leites, Silva made his way to the octagon in a Michael Jackson-inspired outfit, complete with a fedora, sunglasses, and a white glove. As he walked out, Ain't No Sunshine by Bill Withers played in the background. The crowd at the Bell Center in Montreal was electrified as Silva made his way to the octagon, with fans cheering and snapping photos of the fighter's unique entrance. Silva looked relaxed and confident as he made his way to the cage, showing off his signature swagger and charisma. Silva's walkout was a true spectacle, with his team carrying a Brazilian flag and the music adding to the drama and excitement. The entrance was a fitting tribute to Silva's status as a dominant force in the UFC and a reminder that he was ready to defend his title in style. The fight itself was a bit lackluster, with Leites not putting up much of a challenge against Silva's skills. Despite the lack of action in the fight, Silva's walkout was a memorable moment in UFC history, showcasing his flair and charisma as one of the most iconic fighters in the sport. Number 7. Jon Jones, UFC 197. For his light heavyweight title fight against Ovince St. Preux, Jones made his way to the octagon with a black hooded robe draped over his shoulders. As he walked out, his team carried a large American flag and an Albuquerque flag behind him, while the instrumental version of Notorious Thugs by the Notorious B.I.G. played in the background. The crowd at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas was electric as Jones made his way to the octagon, with fans cheering and waving signs in support of the fighter. Despite his absence from the octagon for over a year due to legal troubles, Jones looked relaxed and confident as he made his way to the cage. Jones's walkout was a true spectacle, with his team carrying the flags and the instrumental music adding to the drama and excitement. The entrance was a fitting tribute to Jones's status as a dominant force in the UFC and a reminder that he was back and ready to reclaim his title. The fight itself saw Jones put on a dominant performance, controlling St. Preux on the ground and landing a series of strikes that earned him a unanimous decision victory. It was a strong comeback for Jones and a reminder of his skill and dominance in the octagon. Number 6. Chuck Liddell, UFC 43. Is it me, Or is it getting cold in here? Who's in the house? The Iceman's in the house. Okay, we'll stop. It is hard to resist quoting this intimidating, if not slightly cringe walkout to UFC 43. The menacing laughter that continued as Chuck made his way to the ring had an element of the Joker to it before the Joker became such a big thing. A walkout that was ahead of its time, if not a bit wide of the mark. The memorable walkout was a fitting start to one of the most memorable and important fights in UFC history. The Iceman took on UFC legend Randy Couture. Liddell lost the fight in the third round to a technical knockout, but he would go on to avenge the loss twice in both UFC 52 and UFC 57. In both fights, Liddell beat Couture early via knockout punches. Number 5. Khabib Nurmagomedov, UFC 254. For his lightweight title fight against Justin Gaethje, Nurmagomedov made his way to the octagon with Hussein by Islam Satirov playing in the background. As he walked out, the crowd at the Flash Forum in Abu Dhabi erupted in cheers and applause. Nurmagomedov looked focused and determined as he made his way to the cage, wearing his traditional papaha hat and a stoic expression on his face. His walkout was a true spectacle, with his team carrying a Dagestani flag and the music adding to the drama and emotion of the moment. It was especially significant for the Khabib, who was honoring his father, who had recently passed away. As one of the greatest fighters in UFC history, Nurmagomedov's walkout was a fitting tribute to his legacy in the sport. The emotional moment marked the end of a storied career that saw him go undefeated and dominate the lightweight division for years. The fight itself saw Nurmagomedov put on another impressive performance, submitting Gaethje with a triangle choke in the second round to defend his lightweight title. It was a dominant display of skill and technique from Nurmagomedov and a fitting end to his legendary career. Number 4. Colby Covington, UFC on ESPN, Covington vs. Lawler. For his welterweight main event bout against Robbie Lawler, Covington made his way to the octagon with a red "Make America Great Again" hat and a camouflage backpack. As he walked out, Fight Night by Migos played in the background. The crowd at Prudential Center in Newark was divided, with some fans cheering and others booing Covington's entrance. Covington looked confident and focused as he made his way to the cage, showing off his trademark swagger and trash talk. Covington's walkout was a true spectacle. It was a tribute to the great wrestling champ and Olympian Kurt Angle. The controversial fighter embraced his role as a polarizing figure in the sport. The entrance was a fitting tribute to Covington's status as a fighter who never shies away from controversy, and a reminder that he was ready to put on a show for his fans. The fight itself saw Covington put on a dominant performance, controlling Lawler on the ground and earning a unanimous decision victory. It was another impressive display of skill and dominance from Covington, further solidifying his status as a top contender in the welterweight division. Number 3. Jon Jones, UFC 235. For his light heavyweight title fight against Anthony Smith, Jones made his way to the octagon with a black hooded robe draped over his shoulders, similar to his walkout at UFC 197. The crowd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas was electric as Jones made his way to the octagon, with fans cheering and waving signs in support of the fighter. The fight itself saw Jones put on another dominant performance, controlling Smith on the ground and landing a series of strikes that earned him a unanimous decision victory. It was another impressive display of skill and dominance from Jones, further solidifying his status as one of the greatest fighters of all time. Number 2. Israel Adesanya, UFC 276. Apparently, Israel Adesanya had no idea that the top brass of the WWE would be in attendance, but Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and Triple H were in for a treat as Adesanya entered with The Undertaker's theme and iconic hat. He was also carrying an urn with Jared etched into the metal. The entrance was bold and daunting. The performance itself was one of Adesanya's duller outings. The fight lasted the full 5 rounds, and Israel came away with a comfortable, unanimous decision victory. Even though he may not have won Fight of the Night for his performance in UFC 276, he did manage to pick up a $30,000 fan bonus of the night from Crypto.com due to the black Crypto.com t-shirt he was wearing during his iconic walkout. Not a bad payday for a 60-second walk. Number 1. Brian Ortega, UFC 266. We all remember the 2013 film The Purge and its numerous sequels. For UFC 266, Brian Ortega walked out in one of the most iconic moments in UFC history. The Brian Ortega group made their way to the octagon with the now signature LED masks and pink hoodies. The fight itself was not as memorable for Ortega. Alexander Volkanovski won the fight with a dominant 5-round unanimous decision, with 2 of the 3 judges having Volkanovski winning all 5 rounds. How did we do? Is there a walkout that we missed? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, fight fans.